Welcome members to another weekly market update. Sunday, September the 10th after market closed on Friday the 8th. I'm in Central Florida, so just about to be hit by Hurricane Irma. So getting this out before I might have to lose power, so apologies in advance for any delays to emails. Check the overall update. The other one was the big picture, long-term, short-term, etc. Here's where you look at more closely over my shoulder and see, look at individual things that are going on. Tile, very nice. As you know, I was watching this bouncing off that, respecting that 200-day very nicely, and had a up and down this week, but end of the week on a very high note there, so that's looking good. Nugget did actually fly, and it's got a very nice little down uptrend sorting itself out now. Pretty much after I said actually this was a good trade, the day after it shot up and stayed up. I've got half a position in, ready for a pullback. You know, if the market does correct, which of course it's going to at some point, miners are going to get hit as well. They go down with all kinds of stocks. So there still may be an opportunity for a pullback into this area, so I kept some powder dry for that. But the main thing is, as I said last week, look, if it runs away with me now, at least I've got some money down on it. So that's looking really nice. What else do we have here? I've got a couple I'm looking at actually. NTRI, as you can see, it's on a sideways collision course with that rapidly rising 40-week. If you look at the daily, we've got quite a nice little line of kind of support area around here. So, again, is this the entry point, or is it sort of further down to the line? Again, this could be one where I hedge my bets. I could get a little bit on now, see what it does. And then if it comes down, add a bit more then. But that's just a decent looking chart for this sort of system I use. Another one here I had was ITIC. A similar sort of idea. You can see a decent line of support there. If you look at the weekly chart, again, although it is leveling off a little bit, this one, but it does give a nice tight entry point. So that one's looking interesting. But anything below that, and I would be out of it. So it's got lots of points on the table as well. So that's really what I'm looking at right now. Well, let's just look at the I want to look at the Korean stock market again, because although that sort of died down, it's still very much on the table, as I've been explaining. It's still sort of hanging in there on that sort of that very vulnerable position, sort of head and shoulders sort of area. That was the line in the sand, and it's just kind of trying to break above it, and it can't quite. The way I was trading that is WC. Which is no, it's not. There's a few, but I can't. Koru is one of them, and that's, as I say, there's the sort of support line, and it's got a little head and shoulders going on now. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and the break is going to be if it sort of gets below there any time. And it had a very rough day there. You can see huge selling volume on that one. So anyway, I've got to go batten down the hatches. I will speak to you this time next week, hopefully one way or the other, unless it's a complete power outage, in which case I'll try and get to somewhere to bring you next week's broadcast, and I'll speak to you then.